Hello everyone, welcome back to the Social Club. We were asked in the previous video about Frank de Boer and Roy Hodgson to talk about the Mane challenge, red card, etc. So here we are. It was planned. I'd love to say you had that much control over the content, but not yet, not today. You do get to put your comments in though. If you're watching this live, YouTube comments, I've got some in front of me and then kick it off then. Nick THFC says Mane was reckless and endangered opponent. Not much to complain about, but that doesn't stop Liverpool fans. JMR 17170, not malicious but still dangerous at that pace, so yes. High foot is also not in the law, says Brandon. Carlos David, forward versus defender, yellow card, 9 out of 10, that's 90% of the time. Ped, you tweeted about this at the weekend.
I did.
Because you were watching the match?
No.
So what did you see?
I seen it.
You saw the picture?
Seen it afterwards? No, I seen it afterwards.
Okay.
It was a red card.
Yeah.
It was a red card. I'm not being biased. He put 6 studs in the kid's face.
Yeah.
It's a red card. It's dangerous play. It doesn't matter about other things that happened, and we'll come on to them, but it was pretty bad. And I understand all the arguments, eyes on the ball and all that kind of thing, but it's one of those things about control, isn't it? We also about control. When people go in for tackles, are they in control? Was Mane in control of where he was putting his foot? And the answer is no, because he put it in someone's face.
Yeah.
Now, but if Mane tried to head the ball and they'd collided heads, and it wouldn't have been a sending off.
Yeah.
But it's because he put his foot that high.
The thing for me on this is that I get what you're saying, and I gotta say, look, and I think it is very much the fact that he makes contact with his face. I think that ends up being the deciding factor, which shouldn't. I think that maybe impacts it a bit after the fact. But it's the thing: if the goalkeeper is stood still and Mane charges in and he attacks the ball and he misses the ball and he kicks the guy in the face, I think you're dead on there. But the fact that he doesn't even see the goalkeeper coming. The goalkeeper's out of his area. He's going for the ball, and the guy effectively, and I know this sounds a bit of a cover, but he effectively runs into his foot. Yeah, he headers his foot.
Yeah, okay. Okay.
But this is okay.
But look at it from another point of view, right? Sorry, I've been being in a minute, Paul. Right, last week when that kid from Watford did that awful tackle, right? If he'd got the ball, then would anyone be complaining? No, because he got his leg, right? And it's the same with this. That's football. It doesn't matter if you mean it or not. If he gets the ball there and touches it around the keeper, it's great.
Yeah.
That's the difference. The difference between Liverpool scoring a goal there and Mane being sent off is seconds.
So if the ball makes connection with Mane's foot, the left-hand side of Mane's foot, and then his foot hits him in the face, you're saying he doesn't get sent off?
He will not get sent off for that. He might have been given a foul, but I don't think he would have been sent off for that. But this is football. These are the margins. This is the way it is. I don't think it was a particularly horrible thing or anything like that. It wasn't. Yeah. It was. But in football, we're talked about. How many times do you see in a game where 2 players are going for the same ball and one player will just touch it before the other player, and that means that the other player ends up smacking into him? Yeah. That's not a malicious tackle. It's just poor timing.
But this is my point on this: is that those challenges have become bookable, red cardable offences. And they never used to be. You used to get booked or sent off for, again, cynical tackles and malicious intent. And that's the thing where it stuck out for me. Look, and I'm saying, I can see why it's been given as a red card, but I don't think it's as cut and dry as it's nailed on. I've seen people going, oh, of course, look where his foot is, look at his face. I think it's unfortunate the goalkeeper's got hurt, but the goalkeeper's come out of his box and he's stooped down to head the football in a position of the pitch that he shouldn't be in. And if he's gotten kicked because Mane's looking, I don't know. Look, Paul, you're Irish. You just love a bit of brutality in your sports. Where do you stand?
I would, if I was a Liverpool fan, I'd be looking at it going, if he didn't go for the ball, you'd be going crazy at him, wouldn't you?
Yeah, exactly.
So, and then again, if you're a City fan, you'd be going mad if your keeper didn't come out to close him down, because, well, the questions I'd be asking is where's the defence on that one? Yeah. But anyway, if the goalie gets, if Mane gets to the ball before the keeper and the keeper hits him, he's off then. So it's a margin of kind of who gets to the ball pretty much first there. But at the same time, it's one of those if it wasn't just the two of them, I don't think it would have been a sending off.
Yeah.
If there was anyone around him, I think he would have got a yellow. it's a bit like I was saying to you beforehand. It was a bit like when Nani got sent off against Real Madrid for Man United, and he was eyes on the ball, and he went up for the ball and he kicked a man in the face, and he got, I don't know if it was a second yellow or a red, but he did get sent off in the game because of it. But it's just one of those again. It's whoever gets there first, as you were saying about like a margin of, it's who's quicker.
Is it? I guess though. I've said this before. It's modern footy, I guess, isn't it? But you know, that a red card, you can get the same level of punishment for deliberately two-footing someone as accidentally making contact with someone. Is where there's a problem.
Well,
with
of course
this
you
as
can, but that comes down to the lawmakers. It was dangerous play, but you're right. You know, for maybe he should only deserve a one-match ban. Whereas if you do something, it's like when you see the two-footed tackles and they 2 foot into the ball, and people go, "Well, what was wrong with that?" And you're like, "Well, if someone's leg had been there, then that lad is never playing football again." And I think that's what it's. I've seen penalties and things given the last couple of years where players have got the ball. I mean, we had one last week, Snardlin at Man City. Snardlin wins the ball and goes through the back of the player, and it's a second yellow when he's off the pitch. That's the game we deal with now. It's not all about just getting the ball. You know, if you make contact and it's dangerous, you will be booked or you will be sent off. And it's right, you know, Paul's made a really good point there. The goalkeeper comes out and does the same thing. It's a red card, isn't it? Everyone will say the same thing.
But that's denying a goal scoring opportunity.
I know, but then,
which is its own thing.
It is its own thing, but it's. I was thinking of the other way around. I was thinking, you know, people are not as old as me, but remember the Schumacher incident in the.
I actually know.
And when Schumacher came charging out, what was it, 1984 Euros, it broke the guy's neck, and
he didn't even get a card.
It wasn't even given as a foul. I don't think it was just that was the way it is. Do we want that? Do we want that, or do we want players to be protected?
Yeah.
I feel bad for Mane in a way because I know. Listen, he tipped me a tenner once. He sound. I feel bad for him because you can understand he's completely committed, but then
he doesn't seem like a malicious type of player.
No,
and it's for a sport where all we ever do is bemoan. What's the most common football shout, particularly in the city of Liverpool, for a player who doesn't go fully committed?
Oh, sorry, I was going to say the baby's not yours then, but
shit house is the biggest thing.
Yeah. I shouted at myself on Saturday. I did. I really did. But won't be hard for Blues to know who I'm shouting at that.
Yeah, but this is the thing, isn't it? I think it's not one of those where he's gone in. That's the thing about it. For me, it was the shock as well of it all. I wouldn't have been shocked. Yeah. It would have, when you see the face hanging off after the fact. You know what I mean? It might maybe a bit more of like, ugh. But for the referee to pull it aside and go, it's not like he's jumped up, because we've seen people go up with elbows, we've seen, you know, deliberately looking to hurt the opponent. It wouldn't have been beyond the realms for the referee, I think, to pull that to one side and go, look, you know, of course you've got to go for that ball.
Is the problem, certainly one of the problems is that you get all these ex-referees on TV afterwards and they've all got a different opinion on it. That's I suppose is a hard point. It falls into a grey area in football, that challenge. Yeah. It really does, because it wasn't intent. It does fall into one of those grey areas, and I think as fans we find it hard to get our heads around it. And of course, as a Liverpool fan, you're going to defend them all day. I know that fans of other teams are going to go, that's a red, and then when it happens to them, they're going to defend it all day.
This is the problem we've got, isn't it? Because again, you've just got the shoes on the other foot. Look, as I say, I'd admit it, if it was Aguero on Mignolet, I'm sure I'd have been absolutely up in arms, because look at your goalkeeper's face, there's no way you can get around that kind of stuff. It's just, it's one of them. Go on, sorry, Paul.
No, finish, go on.
No, it's fine. I'm sure you have something much more interesting.
There was that one time where Everton played Villa, and Lescott kicked.
Those faces already like that.
He kicked him in the face, and his eyes were on the ball, and he put his face in, and then he got given a penalty. He got yellow, I think.
We saw Matt Ritchie yesterday in the Newcastle Swansea game. It's probably even higher. The guy's not stooping up, the guy's going up to edit, and he doesn't make the connection. He gets a yellow card for it.
He catches him on the arm.
Yeah, sorry, you're right. He catches him on the arm. But if he catches him in the face there, I don't know. That's the problem with it. It's mad how football, it happens in football, this, doesn't it? You always seem to have the same incident gets replayed whenever it's the biggest incident of the year.
It's weird. It's one of them. I think if he catches him in the head, he's off.
Yeah, and the ref is obviously. This is where refs have to be. Well, some of them are anyway. Have to be just ambivalent of anything that's happened, and have to be down the line. Have to stick to the. And I know we say it, and it does happen where refs say where it said refs even stuff up, but he cannot be thinking of that.
That's why I'm amazed he didn't get a red card, if I'm honest.
But at the same time, he will be thinking of. He will be because he's a human being.
And they get talked to so much, don't they, about all these things. There's no way that the referee bosses haven't gone. Yeah, be careful with this or make it in. What I thought was telling about this, and get people's comments in a moment actually. So keep your thoughts coming in one way or the other on this, and the Matt Ritchie one as well as the Mane stuff. It was how the TV presented at the time. I like when you see that, you expect Sky to pull the drama lever. You know what I mean? Like, oh my God, controversial incident, and and go brah. But Gary Neville was like which is weird for me to sit here and go. Gary Neville was quite level-headed on this. Like, you're saying this will look worse in the replay. I don't think it's that bad in normal time. Blah 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 blah. And a lot of the pundits around the telly actually all said. I don't think it was a red. Now there were just as many online who all had an opinion on it.
See, this is where I don't like ex-players being pundits in a way.
See, this is the opposite. I disagree. This is where I think they actually have some good, because their experience is relevant in this situation.
I understand that, but I don't think experience is relevant to that, because it's not relevant to the laws of the game. Okay. That's what I mean. I can fully understand a player, an ex-player, saying, well, I've been in that situation before and this happened and that happened. But that's not actually relevant to the laws, is it?
It's like asking your mum how to raise kids and they go, oh, get salt in the bath and rub parsnips in your baby's eyes.
They're only going to ever bring up their own experiences and back the football in that. And I think that's where I enjoy when you have really good pundits who are journalists and stuff or whatever, who watch a lot of different football and are not set on the player switch. Because I think that, because how can you have someone, Shearer last week talking about something where we all know Shearer booted someone in the head, and then he's talking about something like,
and John Hartson as well.
You've got to. I think sometimes a player analysing something isn't the greatest thing. You need someone who can take a step back, because it.
No, but
then the referees muddy the waters as well.
But the problem is if the letter of the law stuff isn't football anyway, is it? No. That's the thing, and that's why for me, like I say, I stood up in front of a couple hundred people this week and said how boring and how terrible football pundits were on mainstream media, and I backed that up. But I actually thought this was a good example where it was good that they didn't bow to sensationalism. Yeah. It was the first time they could all go, no, I'd have done that, and if I'd have been, you know what I mean? I thought.
Do you know what the biggest problem with football punditry is, just for a second, is it has to be, the pundit has to be as updated to the game. You imagine now you have some, I know some channel.
Tommy Smith would be all
well, exactly.
over
you have, I know, on you have the Dubai coverage, which Richard Keys and Andy Gray, and they have a lot of people, old school people
Mane should be going up and slapping a woman's bottom when he goes up.
We have old school people like Peter Reid and all that, who played the game 30 odd years ago, and they're talking about it in their context. And obviously Gary Neville and Carragher are quite relevant, but even since they left the game, you know what I mean? That's what
I think ultimately I'm not surprised that he got a red totally, but like I say, I think there's maybe it's not as, of course it's definitely red, because I think inevitably you look at the picture. I think there's a difference between looking at a still image and seeing a boot on face and seeing the reaction, but also taking the context of how players gone. And it's a shame. Because yes, look, you don't want people getting kicked in the head, and that players do need to be protected. But equally, I think it highlights the culture that we've got in football of this. If you mistime a tackle because someone just gets to you first and you bring them down, that's all of a sudden people are getting booked and red carded for stuff, and that's you shouldn't be getting someone being slightly better than you. That's not bookable. It should be. But again, I mentioned this: Trent Alexander-Arnold pulling down Kevin De Bruyne because he's got past them. That's 100%. Otamendi going in two-footed on Salah because he's gone over the ball. He's been made. That's a yellow card. But the other ones, I'm not.
The problem is though, that's not the referee's fault.
Yeah.
And that's both ways. The referee has to give. You know how many times you see a referee go over to someone going, I've got to give you this card, don't you? You've just ran into the crowd. That's a law that I've got to book you for. And the referee has to do that. But unfortunately, the people in charge want a game now where those 50-50s don't happen because they want to, if there's a 50-50 and it's not even 50-50.
They actually like the yellows, don't they, for the draft?
They want someone to go round somebody and they want that person to stop and let that person go round them because he's beating you with a lovely piece of skill. How dare you throw a challenge in?
Yeah, this is why I'm shit at NBA Jam. Because basketball loves all that. You passed shit, doesn't it? Ross, give us some comments.
Yeah, positive comment says, what happens when someone goes up for an overhead kick and someone sticks their head in the way?
That's what I was saying about
Well, that's what it is. I think the law's on the lines of like, it's got, again, it's about control, it's got to be deemed whether it's dangerous play or not. And that's why like I say, for me, I think it's more the circumstances of it is what makes it different. If it's a corner crossed in and Mane jumps in towards the goalkeeper's area inside the 6-yard box with his foot up like that and he kicks the keeper in the head, I think that's...
Yeah, if you try an overhead kick and you kick someone in the head,
you get
you'll get whatever the referee deems.
Yeah.
You know, that I've seen that happen recently, so I don't think there's any problem with that.
Go ahead, Ross.
JMR 17170 says, how many games should he be banned?
That's an interesting one. At Liverpool, I mean, they've got a time of streaming, like an hour left to make the decision. It doesn't look like they've appealed it. It's just, 3 games looks like it is. But I think this is one of those situations where someone should have gone, okay, it's a one game ban or it's a 2-game ban, because I don't agree, and we've already covered this, that you get the same amount of ban for someone who maliciously runs over and 2-foot someone's knee as you do for making an honest attempt to win the ball.
I think 1 game, but because I'm an Everton fan, I'd like to see him banned for 3. but to be justified, 1 game, I would say that.
Okay, Ped?
I'd make it 3, and anyone who 2-foot tackles someone in the knee should get 10.
Okay, cool. Sound? Let's do that then. Now, FA, Premier League, if you're watching. Ross, one more?
Jack Knack said his foot was higher than Bob Marley, therefore rev regardless of intention.
Yeah.
That's a up-to-date reference.
That's spot on. Zeitgeist. Yeah, that's it. Absolutely. Fantastic, phenomenal, up-to-date reference. Let's get some weakest link references in while we can as well. And maybe something about Paul McCartney being dead. You don't remember the... Yeah, do you know... Seriously?
No.
Right, if you don't... Everyone knows the Paul McCartney's dead conspiracy theory, right? No! Really? No. Look up search Paul McCartney's dead on Google and enjoy yourselves for a couple hours worth of reading material. That's good. He's dead. He died. He was replaced by a body double in 1966.
I've heard that about so many different people, though.
Yeah, absolutely.
Michael Jackson.
No, he's dead.
Danny LaRusso. No, he's definitely dead.
He was his doctor.
He's definitely dead.
So, okay, brilliant. Well, yeah, keep your comments coming. If you're watching this after the fact, let us know your thoughts on the whole red card situation. And is there a situation where Mane should have got a lesser ban, or it should have been a yellow card, or whatever? Do you think the laws need to be modified? If you haven't done so already, subscribe to the Ball Street channel. We're flying up at the moment, smash through 60, on the road to, let's say, 70 and beyond. Toffee TV are doing really well as well. And the brand new channel, really pretty much a year or so you've been going? Irish
6 months.
6 months. Irish Football Fan TV, Irish Fan TV on Twitter, get involved. And of course, I've got my channel, Mates TV as well. Click, subscribe, enjoy. And the next show is about the Champions League's return. Get involved.
Not asked.